Are you considering to live abroad, to build your career in another country, to make your life and build that dream career outside of your native country? Well, I did that. I moved from Brazil to Sweden, and that change was a big one in my life. It changed many aspects of my professional life, and it changed many aspects of my personal life as well. Hello and welcome here. My name is William Eller, and today I would like to have a conversation with you who is considering this kind of move to your career and to change completely your life based on your choices, your objectives and dreams to try the life in a different place. I don't know from where you are or what is your native speaking language, but today I want to bring a short reflection on that. I'm Brazilian, and as you may know, Brazilians speak Brazilian Portuguese. Well, English is my second language, or should I say my third language, because I learned Spanish at school and then I had to improve that Spanish because I was working to a job where I had to connect with many other Latin America countries. Therefore, I improved and worked with my Spanish, which can be considered my second language. Then I started learning English quite late in my life, I would say, and English became the most important language that I use to work. I don't know what is your background, but anytime that you are trying to organize your thoughts in a different language, things get a little bit hard. I always make this joke with my colleagues at work that in Portuguese I would be much funnier. And the reflection I'd like to bring here today is exactly around that. It doesn't matter how many years you evolve and evolve in a different language, it seems that you are going to always have this kind of feeling or fear, maybe it is, that you are not just equal, just the same as you are in your native language when talking about different topics. You can talk very well about the things related to your work, about the things related to what you are reading the most. But anytime you go out and you need to have a very open, sometimes funny conversation about the nature, about animals, or what is happening in a very specific incident around you, I know that sometimes that very specific word will be missing from your vocabulary. I understand that. So this is a very common pain. But I don't want to talk only about this. I want to talk about what you want to do. Because if you still want to make your career in a different country, English, of course, it's a very important thing that you need to develop. But my question is, are you treating in your mind, in your life, this project about making your career international as a project, as an objective, or do you just have as like a big dream and someday, maybe, who knows, it can happen? I'm saying this because I treat it as a project. I knew that learning English was important and therefore I applied myself a lot of energy and intensity to learn the language. I consider myself as still learning, still improving. I read books in English and I listen to a lot of podcasts so I can improve to get more used to English, just like I'm talking naturally in Portuguese. But back to my question, if having an international career and go to another country and maybe multiple countries is important to you, how are you treating this project? Do you have a specific objectives to your language, to the skills that you need to develop, to be prepared personally for this kind of move? Because I have many Brazilian friends who contact me and they say, oh, I have this big dream. What about my, LinkedIn? Do you think I'm prepared? Do you think I will have any chance? And then I check and normally they have some kind of CVs that could be quite interesting to some opportunities here in Europe. But they are not prepared for the move if that happen like in a couple of months. They say they have this big dream, but they are not prepared to take on a new opportunity and to go to this new country to start their international career. It was quite hard to me. That kind of decision affects everything in your life. When I said yes to my opportunity moving from Brazil to Sweden, I had to say no to so many different things. And when the opportunity arrived, it was in the mid of COVID times. And that was a hard time to even, go to the supermarket. And I was making myself ready, prepared, and organizing my whole life to move to another country. That was a big thing. That was a big decision. And of course, it just not impacted me, but it affected my family, my friends, and of course, it affected the people living with me. In this case, my wife, who was also prepared, because this project was not only my project. And that is the first thing, or the first lesson, that if you are going to write something from this video, write that. Be aligned to have one single project with the people who are important to you. If you are married, you should be aligned, and your international career should be connected with the other person living with you. Otherwise, you're going to have not just a problem for you, but a problem for the other person's plan. I mean, if this is really important to you and important to them, that will become a big project that you're going to work together. And that is exactly what happened to me. I was prepared. My wife was prepared. When I said yes, we packed our things. And a few weeks later, not a few months, a few weeks later, I was arriving in Sweden. So be aligned with your family. Be aligned with the people who matter to you, that you're going to do this big step. And the second thing, I told you a little bit about that when I was speaking about learning the second or the third language. Being prepared with the skills that you need to make this movement. Language is one thing. But if you are moving to work in a specific industry, you should be ready with your qualifications as well, so you can get the work and move abroad. If you're thinking about developing yourself before moving, do that. And you know, when you move, you should be ready to be the best one. I had this mindset with me. If I'm moving to a specific project management position, and that is what I'm applying for, I will be the best one. Maybe I'll not be the best one comparing to, you know, this very important guy who I see in a Congress, but I will be the best one for the project that I'm applying to, the project I will be managing. I will be just the best version of myself, and the best one to deliver value to the company who is going to invest on me. That was my mindset. So align the project with your family, invest in yourself, prepare yourself for this movement, and third, be prepared with the culture change. And don't be one of those people who are not prepared to adapt yourself also for another culture. You're going to another country, you're going to another place. Of course, you should be who you are. You should keep your main values. I'm not talking about this, but if you're moving to a country where have a set of values, you know, shared values in the country between their people and between their way of working and between the workplace, be sure that you are the one moving there. And therefore, they should not be adapting to for you. You should be adapting to work with them. This is very pragmatic from my side, I know, and many people will disagree, and current times it's making this opinion even harder. But what I'm saying here is I moved to Sweden, and there's a set of shared values in Sweden that is part of my new life. I am still the Brazilian guy from the south. I still do barbecue on my way. I still have my values and my beliefs. I still have the things that I consider the right and the wrong. But I'm living in another country, and this country is now dictating you know, the new rules on how I should drive, for example, the new rules on how I should behave outside, the new rules on how I should behave with my neighbors. So I should respect that and follow that. The decision to move to a new country was mine. And therefore, the third lesson, and many people I know disagree with this idea, is that you should be prepared to adapt yourself to this new culture. If you're not prepared to adapt, you should be reconsidering your idea to have an international career. Again, I will repeat myself here. I'm not saying that you should give away your values, your most important principles of life. I'm not saying this, okay? Many people ask me about this move. That's why I wanted to have this video recorded and prepare you more on this conversation so we can discuss more on the challenges of moving to a new country. And I know that many people are also preparing. Some of them just moved to a new country. So I want you to share with me what are your main pains, and maybe we can have more content on this channel talking about that, because this is also about developing your career and making a better version of yourself, which is one of the main goals on this channel. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.